Wanted to talk you through via screencast the material that we just ran out of time for on Tuesday, October 13th. Anyway, we use this competitive market and competitive firm side-by-side analysis to analyze both short-run and long-run events. So far, we've seen short-run event analysis in the context of markets. So now we're going to add the firm analysis to that framework, and then we're going to take it all the way to the long run. There's other things that might be considered in this framework, but the main types of things that we use this framework for are to analyze 6 types of events. Fixed costs could change. They could increase or they could decrease. Those are 2 of the 6. Variable costs could change. They could increase or decrease. There's 2 more. And then finally, demand could increase or decrease, and those are our last sort of canonical case, typical cases, the 6 types of events that you should be able to analyze. All right, and the steps are very, well, they overlap to some degree with the steps we learned for the event analysis in the market. That analysis was a subset of what we're going to do now. So when you have an event, you first construct the initial equilibrium for the market and firm. And it's not because the world is ever in equilibrium. We just create a situation where nothing else is changing so we can focus on how the event in question is going to move the market. And it's one of the ironies of the way we use this framework. It's an equilibrium framework, and we use it to analyze a world that's never in equilibrium. But remember our purposes. We're trying to try to develop some intuition about the direction in which particular events are going to move market prices and market quantities sold. So in broad, the way you do these event studies is you first analyze the short-run effects in great detail. And I like doing the base case in black, the short run in blue, the long run in red. The colors really help you separate out the initial equilibrium, the short run effects, and then the long run effects, because those can be difficult to sort out without the color coding. And then, so anyway, once you analyze the short run effects of whatever the event is, you ask the question, are firms making profits or losses in the short run? And if they are, well, something's going to change in the long run. If firms are making profits, there's going to be entry, and that's going to change the market. And if firms are making losses in the short run, and that's expected to continue, then there's going to be exit over the long run. If firms are making losses because, you know, a windstorm blew down their crop, but it's going to be good weather next year, presumably, or normal weather next year, that's not going to lead to long-run exit. But if climate change meant that the drought in California is just one of eons to come of drought for California, well, they're going to stop making Cabernet Sauvignon grapes down there and going to, I don't know, make cactuses or something. You know, if it's a long-run change, a lasting change, then it could have long-run effects. All right, let's go to a very concrete example. This is the application exercise I had prepared for class, but we didn't get to. And I'm just imagining Ileana is this artisanal, if I'm pronouncing that right, ice cream maker, and she's just got one of these small shops in Portland. There's hundreds such small shops, we assume, and it's a competitive sector. And she's just breaking even, so she's stepped right in and hit long-run equilibrium right off the bat. She's doing just as well as she would have done in her next best opportunity. That's what breaking even means. All right, suddenly, Board of Health comes by and says, hey, Ileana, we're doubling the annual fee for the dairy license. Our costs are up. We aren't getting a state subsidy anymore. We're going to have to pass those costs up along to our licensees. So this fee is going up, and then what's more, it's retroactive to the beginning of the year. So she gets this increase in her licensing fee. We're going to assume a constant cost industry. I'll tell you what that's about sort of toward the end of this screencast. The book also focuses on what an increasing cost industry would look like, what a decreasing cost industry would look like, and what a constant cost industry would look like. We're going to map the short run, and then we're going to map the long run effects of this event. So here we go. Notice that Board of Health doubling the annual fee. So this is a fixed cost. So this is going to be the case. Fixed costs go up. It's important to know that. All right, so how do we do this? Well, first off, remember we map out the long run equilibrium. Oh, I better have a pen instead of an arrow. We map out the long run equilibrium for the market and the firm. It doesn't really matter which one you do left and which one you do right. I do market left and firm right, just an arbitrary choice. And so this will be the ice cream shop market, and this will be Ileana shop. And let's get our units straight. This is dollars per pint. We do this side by side because the vertical axis units for both frameworks are the same, which is going to be fairly convenient. And we know already the market demand, market supply. Let's label them. I better finish my labeling of the axes. Quantity for the market, we're going to measure in thousands of pints per month. And then on the y-axis, on the x-axis of the firm, we're going to use a small q to remind us that this is just this small little firm, and it'll just be pints per year. The stylus sometimes is writing and sometimes not. Notice, by the way, that we could map Ileana's problem on this same framework, but she's so teeny compared to the market that we'd need a microscope to study her firm right against the y-axis. So this is a blow-up of Ileana's problem. There would be thousands of little producers that we could analyze on this framework, but they'd each be microscopically small. All right, back to labeling. This initial equilibrium is a non-trivial state of the process. You want to enable the initial market price and quantity. And remember, that market price is going to feed over into the perfectly elastic demand of this price taker at the outset of the game. That needs to be a dotted line. Oops. I have a really broad eraser setting going on. All right, this will let me dot it. Now to clean up the mess that I made, well, being careless. All right, there we go. Here we go. So remember, the firm is in long run equilibrium too. So we know that average total cost is U-shaped. And we know that marginal cost comes up and intersects that right at the minimum. The long run equilibrium has price equal average total cost, which it only would since price always equals marginal cost. The price is equal to average total cost only at that minimum average total cost where it intersects the marginal cost. And that we'll just call very creatively small q naught. All right, well, now we're ready. I'm going to change the color pen to blue. Let's see if I can find a nice blue. That's good enough. All right, what's this event? This event is a rise in her fixed costs. Well, what do fixed costs change? Let's think about that. Would fixed costs change her marginal cost? No. That's the cost of producing one more unit of ice cream. The licensure fee doesn't affect that at all. Would it affect her variable costs if we had drawn it? No, those are variable costs. This is a fixed cost changing. If marginal costs don't change, well, then supply doesn't change because that's the aggregation of all the firm's marginal costs. So what would change? Well, only the average total cost. Remember, average fixed cost is a component of average total cost. So average fixed costs going up would increase average total costs. So we have this new function, ATC prime. ATC blue. All right, well, what's happening in the short run? In the short run, price doesn't change, supply doesn't change, so demand doesn't change, so price doesn't change. The price doesn't change. What's happened is, though, that because of this fee, Ileana now she gets this price P naught, but now average total costs have gone up to oops, I've just put the heel of my hand on the baseline there, ATC1. So she was breaking even, now she's losing money. And in fact, she's losing, that rectangle is the exact amount of the fee increase. We know that because she was breaking even, and that's all that has changed. So these are short run losses. So in this event, her output doesn't change. The price received doesn't change, but she goes from breaking even to making a profit. That's the end of the short run case. So it's really important in these events to map out the short run case, identify where it ends. Then the long run, you'll be happy to know, is somewhat easier than the short run. The long run only involves asking, okay, are firms losing money or are they making profits? And in this case, not just Ileana, this license fee went up for everybody, and some of them are going to say, geez, I thought we'd be doing okay, but these dang regulators are raising my costs and I'm out of business. And indeed, some of the producers will be out of business in the long run. So what happens is some of the firms decide that they're going to go do something else. Their next best opportunity, go back to being an accountant or whatever else they were doing. So with exit, the supply curve is going to shift left, and as the supply curve shifts left, notice what's going to happen. The price is going to go up, 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 up. Well, how far is price going to have to go up before the survivors can stay in the game? Well, the price is going to have to reach the new break-even price, which I'll indicate with a line across, just like so. I know that enough exit has to occur that the survivors, and we'll assume Ileana's one of the survivors can break even again. So supply curve is going to shift left in the long run because of this long run exit in response to those short run losses that came about because of the increase in licensing fees. Market output goes down, and notice firm level output, the survivors are going to have to each produce a little bit more to meet market demand and to be able to make enough money to pay the regulatory costs. So that's what happens. That's how you analyze an increase in fixed costs. Now, I'd like you to do on your own the case where fixed costs go down. And there it's a case where firms go from breaking even to making profits, and then over time there's entry. How much entry? Entry to the point where everybody in the industry is making zero economic profits, just breaking even.